We've already seen how we can add borders and shading to individual paragraphs to help them stand out off the page. Now we can take things a little bit further by adding borders and background colours to the whole page. So not just to individual paragraphs, but to the whole page. If we want to change the background colour for the whole page, we go to the design ribbon and come across to page colour, where in the drop list we have access to all the theme colours. As you hover, you'll see your background colour changes. And just like the paragraph, if you go too dark, then the foreground colour changes automatically. We can choose one of the standard colours. Yellow is quite bright, isn't it? Or we can even go into more colours. Choose a colour from the hexagon or go into custom to define our own colour. Although it's not common practice to change the background colour for Word documents, usually because the destination of a Word document is the printer, if you know your document is aiming to be used as a PDF, then a background colour could be quite useful in offsetting the document if we were to go for a light colour, for example, like the light blue there, or the light red, or the light green. I quite like the light green. So if I select that light green colour, that changes the background colour, not just for this page, but for the whole document. So every page in the document gets the same background colour. So it's page colour, selection of your colour. If you want to go back to nothing, you simply choose no colour. Now there are fill effects options under here. If we go into fill effects, what that will allow us to do is either take one colour and then mix it sort of diagonally, vertically. In these options here, you can see you're getting a gradient fill. Now you can mix two colours together to do that. So we could take the green and a light orange and mix those together. Choose the layout you like the look of and OK. And you can see then you get a two colour mix across the page. A little bit garish and crazy, but it's feasible. So that's fill effects. Or we can go back to our single colour. I think I might change to purple now. Now, as well as being able to change the background colour for the whole page, and therefore every page within the document, we can add page borders. Now, the page borders are accessed through this little option here, also on the design ribbon. Brings up a separate dialog box, which is the borders and shading dialog box, where there is a separate tab for the page border. Now we have options for box, shadow, 3D or custom, where we're going to change each side ourselves. I'm going to go with a box shape. We then choose the style. You can see the normal styles we saw at the paragraph borders, dot dashes, dashes, double, triple lines, solid lines, etc. Wiggly lines. We can choose a colour for that line. I'm going to go with black and a width. Now because I've chosen the wiggly one, there's only two widths, which is 3/4 of a point or 1.5 points, so slightly thicker. And there are even art borders. If you click the drop down, you'll see we have a choice of different graphic options. Stars, worlds, pencils. Lots to choose from in there. Even crazy little patterns like that. Okay, I'm going to leave that at none for the moment. Now with the page border, unlike the page background, you can choose to apply this page border to the whole document. Therefore, every page in the document will have the same page border, or this section first page only, or this section all except the first page. When it comes to dealing with sections, which we cover much later in the document, you'll find that your Word document is broken down into sections. Now if I choose this section and say OK, I'll find that this section is actually every page of our current document. That's all 8 pages now have that same border on. If I want to start dealing with section breaks, so I have different page borders, then I'll need to come back at the section break point. So for the moment we can go into page borders, choose the style of the box, the style of the line, colour of the line and the width of the line, and that will apply a 4-sided border to every page in my document. Now I can make every side different, just as we could with the paragraph, by choosing a different style. Let's turn that side off. Let's go solid reddish and apply that side, and you see that side becomes solid reddish. Change again to a bigger thick line in grey. Turn that side off and back on, and it uses the slightly thicker grey line. Now if I say OK, that's going to make my borders look a bit mad, but the principle is there. You are in charge of the borders as they appear. You could even go as crazy as using the art options, What about pieces of cake? The only control we have over the art options is the width of each piece of art. So we've got 31 points there. So if you drop that size down, you effectively generate more cakes. Let's go down to 14 points. Okay. And then I have lots of little cakes around my page. Quite useful if this were a recipe, for example. So that's page borders. Totally in control. If you want to remove any page borders, you simply choose the None option. Okay, and your page borders are removed. Page color requires you to go to page color and no color, and the page background color is also removed. So these extra options for formatting your document by changing the background color. Note that the background color will not print when you send it to the printer, but if you were to create a PDF, it will retain that background color. The page borders are for each page on the document, and you have a lot of control. We've just seen the control we have in there for changing the style of the box, the style of the line, the color of the line, the thickness of the line, and even having trendy little pictures of our own going around the outside, obviously relevant to the content.